Hey y'all, it's almost New Year's and I'm going to bring you some quick, easy, and delicious appetizers for your New Year's Eve party. And I'm browning some sausage and I'm going to make some queso. I'm using these crockpot liners from Temu. I'll have them linked down below in the description box if you want to get a set. They make cleanup really quick and easy. I'm also making some queso. I've got some diced tomatoes and I've also got a can of green chilies. And I've got some Velveeta cubed up. I didn't have any rotel or I would have used that instead. And on the other side, I'm going to make a spinach dip. I'm going to use some Parmesan cheese, regular cheese, spinach, mayonnaise, cream cheese, and some onion powder, garlic powder, and some salt and pepper. And I'm just going to add that to the other side of my crockpot liner. And all you'll have to do is just stir each one of them together. And I did add the sausage later. I didn't show that, but I'm going to mix these together and put them on high with the lid on for about 2.5 hours. And these made the most delicious dips. Y'all have got to make these. They were quick and easy to put together and so delicious. So I'll have all the recipes linked down below in the description box. Here I'm going to make some Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. I've had them at a restaurant, but I've never made them at home. And these were so delicious, so easy to make. All I did was I just took some steakums out of the freezer and thawed them out. You could add your own steak if you'd like. And I'm just adding in some Worcestershire sauce. I'm just going to add it right in the bag. And I will let that sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes and let it get all those flavors together. And now I'm just going to put them in the pan. I'm going to fry them. I'm doing them a little bit different than the recipe, so I'll have the recipe link down below in the description box, the way that it's supposed to go. But I'm not going to brown it all the way, just about halfway through, and then I'll add in the onion powder and garlic powder and some pepper. I don't think that was in the recipe, but I will have that link below, like I said. And I'm adding in some of my peppers from the garden that I froze and thawed out, and I chopped up an onion. So now I'm going to add the cheese. There was not enough cheese in this for me. I'll definitely double the cheese, just use that whole packet. I would have wished I would have put all those in there too. But you just cook that until that cheese is nice and melted. Look at that. I could just dig in with a fork just like that. But I'm just going to let that sit off the heat for a little bit so it can kind of cool down a little bit. And now I'm going to start on the egg roll. I'm going to take some water and just put my finger in the water and just run it around the edge of the egg roll so it will stick. And that's going to be like my glue. I'll put my filling in the middle. So I'm just going to roll it up. Try to roll it as tight as possible so your filling won't come out when you put it in the fryer or in your frying pan. And I've just got just a little bit of vegetable oil in here, and I'm just going to fry them on both sides. I like to make sure that they're started seam side down. That way it'll close that side off and their filling won't come out. Just make sure you watch them pretty closely because they'll only take a minute or two to fry. And these turned out so good. I don't know why I have never made them before at home, but they were really easy. The only thing I would change is I would add more cheese to it. That's the only thing I would change. You've definitely got to make this for your New Year's Eve party because it's so easy to make and everybody's going to love these. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is some homemade onion dip. I've got some chopped up onions cooking in some butter and I'm going to caramelize them. I'm adding in some salt and pepper, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. I'll have that recipe linked down below in the description box, but this was so good. Those caramelized onions I've mixed with some mayonnaise, some sour cream, and some cream cheese. And I'm just going to mix that around and that's it. Just put that in the fridge for a couple of hours and it's ready to eat. This was so good, a little bit sweet because of those caramelized onions. Don't buy the mix anymore. This could be made in 30 minutes and just put it in the fridge until you're ready for your party. These are a new recipe to me. These were some hot jelly cheese puffs and you're going to form a dough, making a dough with the flour, some shredded cheese, and a stick of butter. I changed the recipe a little bit. I will have that down below in the description box. I think it needed a little bit more flavor, so I added some salt, onion, and garlic powder, and I think it was a lot better. So you just want to make a dough, so just stir that around, and I actually just used my hands because it didn't work out that good with the spoon. So you'll form it into a ball and wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. And then you'll take it out and you'll form them into balls and you'll put them in the oven for just a few minutes. I think that they were a little bit doughy, made into balls. So what I did was the next batch I did, I flattened them out a little bit, and they did a lot better that way. And they had a lot better flavor. And you could make some of them flat like I did, like crackers, and you could put some kind of a dip or like a pimento cheese or something on top, and I think they would be really good. But I think they were good just like the recipe, but I think they were a little bit better if you add a little bit more seasoning and you bake them just a little bit longer. So I formed them all into balls and I put them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 5 to 6 minutes. The recipe calls for hot jalapeno jelly, but I'm just going to use my candied jalapenos and my jalapeno jelly, but any jelly would work. This is what they look like out of the oven, so I'm just going to take a spoon and press an indentation in the middle of each of them, and that's where the jelly's going to go, and then you'll put it back in the oven. Like I said, I wish I would have flattened them out all the way. I think they would have been a lot better, but now I'm just going to add in the pepper jelly on each one, and then you'll put it back in the oven for another 5 to 6 minutes. So if you kind of like them a little bit doughy tasting, then you probably won't want to do that, but I think they would be a lot better if they were a little bit more flattened. So put them in the oven for about 5 to 6 minutes more, and while I'm waiting on that, I'll go ahead and start working on my next one. And this is just that dip, that spinach dip that I've already had in the refrigerator, and I'm just going to make some wontons out of it. So these were even better, I think, than the dip. So make sure you make these too. And these were really easy. Just take a little spoonful of the dip and just put it in the middle of the wonton. And you'll do it just like the egg roll wrapper. You'll just take some water and put it around the edges like your glue and just kind of fold it like a little pocketbook. And I had something similar to this at Sam's, and it had feta cheese and the spinach. So I think next time I'll even add a little bit of feta cheese in here. And actually, you could probably use any kind of dip. Just refrigerate it first and then put it in your wonton. Okay, these little cheese puffs came out of the oven. I'm going to let them cool off, and then I'm going to start frying those spinach wontons. Just make sure that you watch these closely because they will cook really quickly. And this one was from the second batch, and it was so much better. Some more salt, some seasoning, and just letting it cook a little bit more. It was so good. So I definitely recommend it with the tweaks. And I even flattened those ones in the back. They're almost like a cheese straw, and I think it would be perfect for dipping in some pimento cheese or any kind of dip. And even that spinach dip, which when it was in that wonton, it just made it so much better. So I highly recommend all these recipes, y'all, and I'll have them down in the description box. So I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed 2024, and I'll see y'all in the next video.